When raw lightning crashes into the eye of the storm, legends are born. On one side, the sharp discipline and explosive force of American karate. On the other, the fluid grace and devastating control of aikido. The crowd held its breath as two masters stepped into the arena, not just to fight, but to define the future of martial arts. What followed was not just a match, but a moment etched in history. In this epic clash of styles, only one could walk away victorious. When news broke that Jem Kelly and Steven Seagal would finally settle their rivalry in the ring, the martial arts community went absolutely wild. This wasn't just another fight. This was the collision of two completely different fighting philosophies, two contrasting styles that had been brewing for years. The backstory? Both men had carved their names into martial arts legend through different paths. Kelly, the lightning-fast karate champion from Enter the Dragon fame, versus Seagal, the mysterious aikido master who dominated Hollywood action scenes for years. Their mutual respect had always been tinged with the question, who would win in a real fight?
Kelly entered the arena like a predator stalking prey. His reputation preceded him. This was a man who could throw 6 punches in the time most fighters threw 2. Standing 6'2" with the lean, muscular build of a classical martial artist, Kelly represented speed incarnate. His strengths were absolutely terrifying to opponents. Kelly's hand speed was legendary. Witnesses described his combinations as invisible until they landed. His footwork was poetry in motion, allowing him to slip in and out of range like a phantom. The man had reflexes that seemed almost supernatural, honed through years of point fighting tournaments where split-second timing meant everything. But here's where it gets interesting. Kelly's greatest strength was also his potential weakness. His style relied heavily on distance management and precise timing. He was a surgical striker, preferring to pick apart opponents with calculated attacks rather than engage in prolonged exchanges. This approach had served him well in tournaments, but against a grappling specialist, it could become problematic. Kelly's tournament background meant he was used to fighting under specific rules, point sparring where the first clean technique scored. Real combat, even in a controlled environment, demanded different skills. His conditioning, while excellent for short bursts, hadn't been tested against someone who could neutralize his striking advantages.
When Seagal stepped into the arena, you could feel the atmosphere shift. This wasn't just another fighter. This was a man who'd built his reputation on being absolutely unpredictable once the action started. His 6'4" frame carried the kind of deceptive power that came from years of serious aikido training, not just movie choreography. Seagal brought something Kelly had rarely faced, aikido mastery, combined with devastating joint manipulation skills. His background gave him incredible grappling ability. Those hands were like steel traps that could redirect any attack. His martial arts credentials spoke volumes. 7th Dan black belt in aikido, with a fighting philosophy that used an opponent's energy against them. The man's mental game was legendary. Stories circulated about his training in Japan, years of traditional aikido study, the kind of dedication that created almost mystical abilities. Seagal could read opponents' movements before they happened, something that gave him a massive advantage against linear attackers. His psychological warfare was equally impressive. Seagal had that rare ability to remain completely calm under pressure. He'd faced aggression before, but never lost his centered composure. This mental stability often unnerved opponents before the physical battle even began. But Seagal had his vulnerabilities too. His aikido style, while effective in close quarters, required opponents to commit to attacks. Against a skilled distance fighter, his defensive approach could become problematic. His size, while intimidating, made him a larger target for Kelly's precision strikes. When the bell rang, Kelly immediately established his rhythm. His jab flicked out like a snake's tongue, testing distance and timing. Seagal, true to form, began his methodical approach, staying centered and waiting for the right moment to engage. The first significant exchange came 90 seconds in. Kelly landed a picture-perfect reverse punch that snapped towards Seagal's head, but somehow Seagal wasn't there anymore. Using pure aikido principles, he had blended with Kelly's attack, redirecting the energy and sending Kelly stumbling past him. The crowd erupted. This was the Seagal they'd heard about but never seen in real combat. This pattern continued through the early rounds. Kelly would score with his lightning-fast combinations, but Seagal kept neutralizing them, absorbing the energy and turning it back against his opponent. By the fourth round, something shifted. Kelly's movement, while still impressive, had lost that effortless quality. Those constant redirections from Seagal were accumulating frustration, making Kelly's attacks less precise. Meanwhile, Seagal looked like he was just getting warmed up. The decisive moment came in round 5. Kelly threw one of his signature combination attacks, a jab cross hook sequence that had dropped numerous opponents. But this time, Seagal was ready. He blended with the jab, redirected the cross, and stepped inside the hook. Suddenly, Kelly found himself in Seagal's world, close range, where aikido principles reigned supreme. Seagal applied a devastating wrist control that sent Kelly to the ground, followed by a perfectly executed throw that left Kelly stunned. For the first time in the fight, Kelly looked genuinely confused by what had just happened. What happened next revealed the true character of both fighters. Kelly, despite being frustrated, showed incredible heart. He used his superior boxing skills to maintain distance, buying time to figure out Seagal's timing. His corner worked frantically between rounds, trying to devise a strategy against someone who seemed to operate by different rules. Seagal, sensing momentum, turned up the pressure. His aikido techniques became more frequent and more controlling. He was systematically breaking down Kelly's offensive capabilities round by round, technique by technique. The 8th round was pure technical warfare. Kelly, knowing he was behind on points, threw caution to the wind. His combinations came in rapid-fire succession, each one a potential fight ender. But Seagal weathered the storm like a mountain enduring a hurricane. He absorbed what he couldn't redirect, neutralized what he could, and kept pressing his aikido advantage. When the final bell rang, both fighters embraced with genuine respect. They'd pushed each other to limits neither had experienced before. Kelly had shown that his speed and technique were every bit as dangerous as advertised. Seagal had proven that his reputation for mysterious martial arts mastery was well-deserved. But in the end, Steven Seagal won by unanimous decision. The judges scored the fight based on effective technique, ring control, and the ability to neutralize an opponent's strengths, all areas where Seagal had gradually built advantages throughout the contest. Seagal won because he imposed his martial arts philosophy on the fight. While Kelly had moments of brilliance, Seagal controlled the overall pace and direction of the battle. His aikido principles forced Kelly to fight Seagal's fight rather than his own. The redirections that seemed minor in early rounds became fight-changing factors as the contest progressed. Most importantly, Seagal's mental conditioning allowed him to maintain his centered approach, while Kelly's speed and precision deteriorated under constant pressure. In martial arts, as in life, sometimes the most patient fighter wins, not through any single moment of brilliance, but through relentless, systematic neutralization of an opponent's strengths. This fight became legendary, not because it was one-sided, but because it showcased two different paths to martial arts mastery. Kelly proved that speed and technique could trouble even the most centered opponent. Seagal proved that patience, timing, and an unshakable mental foundation could overcome superior speed and striking skill. Both men left the arena as legends, but only one left as victor.